If we look deeply into the writings of distant antiquity, we'll find some mind-bending descriptions which defy our understanding of the past. The ancient Vedic civilization of India is one such culture which is very little explored and surprises us every time we dig deep into its cryptic manuscripts. Today, we are going to learn about a particular chapter in the life of a king who is believed to have lived when Earth's civilization was part of an intergalactic network. Dig deep into the writings of any ancient culture, be it the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Sumerians, or the Indians, and you will find detailed stories and events relating to visitations of gods from above. Skeptics discard these writings as myths, which are not true but vain fantasies of their human creators. But on a second thought, why is there so much similarity between the tales and descriptions of those otherworldly beings? Why is it not possible that the ancient people described what they really saw with their own eyes? And more importantly, how can anyone describe events which are related to advanced scientific theories, yet to be discovered thousands of years later? We find the story of a king named Muchukunda in the Bhagavata Purana, which is an important text in Hindu culture and is believed to have been written at least more than 4,000 years ago. Muchukunda was a very powerful king of his time, and he belonged to the Tretaya Yuga, or the second epoch in Hindu cosmology. In Hinduism, time is believed to run in a cyclic manner. One complete revolution of time is called a Mahayuga, and each Mahayuga is divided into 4 yugas. These 4 yugas are Satya Yuga, Tretaya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and the Kali Yuga. We are currently living in the 4th and the final Yuga, or the Kali Yuga. The civilizations from all the previous yugas have been destroyed by fierce cataclysms and violent wars. So, King Muchukunda belonged to the 2nd Yuga, and it was a time when humans had great relations with the gods. But unlike other civilizations, the ancient Indians categorized these godly beings into various classes and created a detailed encyclopedia about their physiology, habitat, political motives, and technology. One among these categories were the Devas, who were mostly kind to human beings and stood for righteousness and justice. They taught humans about science, technology, and spirituality, and even shared advanced knowledge with the human civilization of that period. They came from a completely different planet, which the ancient writers simply name as the Swarga Loka. The literal meaning of Swarga Loka is heaven, and people believe it is somewhere hanging in the sky. However, it is quite natural for people to point to the sky as the abode of the Devas, because they used to descend from above. But if you go through those ancient texts, you will soon realize that Swarga Loka might be a different planet from where these advanced extraterrestrial beings known as Devas used to come. There are other non-human civilizations and intelligent creatures described in the ancient Hindu texts, such as the Padma Puran. But the real arch-enemies of the Devas were the Asuras. Asuras were mostly cannibals who used to abduct and hunt humans. The Asuras had only one motive, and that was to take over the planet of the Devas. They were power-hungry and greedy creatures who wanted to rule the entire universe and own all of its resources. They had even tried to take control of Earth, but due to the help and support of the Devas, Earth remained unconquered for most of the time. Every human ruler had to learn about the Asuras and devise ways to save the planet from their vicious attacks. And King Muchukunda was an expert in war strategies and in defeating the Asuras. By the time Muchukunda was ruling the Earth, the race of Devas had become weak due to their overindulgence and careless attitudes. The Asuras had been waiting for that time to attack the Swarga Loka and take over the whole planet. There ensued a fierce interstellar war between the Asuras and the Devas, in which the Devas military was slowly falling apart. They needed help, as the Asuras had become much stronger than ever. In that moment of desperation, the Devas sent for King Muchukunda's help because of his superior knowledge about the Asura race. They went to him and asked if he could go to their planet and help them defeat the Asuras. The king was well aware of the Devas' help to mankind in the past, so he agreed without any hesitation to go to Swarga Loka and help them win the war. It is written that the king boarded the Vimana in which the Devas had come to Earth, and in an instant he was transported to Swarga Loka. This technology seems quite similar to teleportation or faster than light travel. The war went on for about a month, and finally the Devas were able to defeat the Asuras and save their planet. King Muchukunda's war strategies and detailed knowledge about the Asuras were instrumental in their victory. So, when the war was over, the Devas requested Muchukunda to ask for anything in return for his great service in the war. The king replied that it was his moral duty to help the Devas for their generosity to mankind in the past. He wanted nothing, and just wished to go to his family and kingdom. Now, here the story takes a completely different turn. The Devas hesitatingly informed him that his family is no more along with his kingdom. The Earth is now a completely different place. Many thousands of years have passed on Earth since his arrival on Swarga Loka. The Devas explained to him that time runs at different speeds on Earth and on their planet. A complete epoch has passed, and Earth was now in the Third Era, or the Dwapara Yuga. The king was shocked to hear this and said nothing for a while. But finally, he asked for the boon of unbroken sleep. The rest of the story is a topic for another video. To better understand the story of King Muchukunda, first we have to look at a very strange scientific phenomenon known as time dilation. The general theory of relativity proposed by Albert Einstein showed that time is an entirely different dimension, which is affected by the velocity and mass of an object. If you've seen the movie Interstellar, you can get a very clear picture of how time runs at different speeds at different locations in our universe. For instance, time runs extremely slowly near an astronomically massive object like a supermassive black hole. If you spend a few days near a black hole, then surprisingly, a few months or years would have passed on planet Earth. It is now a scientifically verified fact and not a concept from some science fiction movie. Your GPS providers use this theory to fetch you with accurate data. When theories along these lines were discovered for the first time, a great revolution took place in the development of modern physics as we know it. This completely changed how we look at interstellar space travels and how the universe works. Now, if you think about the story of King Muchukunda, you will realize that the phenomenon of time dilation was the reason why the king lost his family and kingdom. Swarga Loka seems to be located near an astronomically massive object, and time runs at much slower speed than on Earth. Apparently, the king was unaware of this fact and was taken advantage of. The ancient Hindu texts are filled with stories like these, which can only be explained by modern scientific theories. But my question is, how can people living thousands of years ago describe these mind-bending events? So, is it not possible that what the ancient writers have written are true events? Was Earth really once a part of an intergalactic civilization? I'll leave that for you to decide.